we bring in Swerve Strickland. Swerve, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it. Thank you, my friend.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Now, wait, before we get it.
Hang on, Dave.
Well,
we got to do this.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Whose interview?
Swerve's interview.
There
Thank you, Tommy.
go.
Good job by you.
I'll take it.
Bow Swerve. Before we get into what we're going to see tonight, I got to rewind just a little bit, talk about the Jericho Cruise. You were a big part of the Jericho Cruise. Bully and I were on the cruise. You killed it on stage, on that pool deck in front of over 1,000 fans doing what you love. Talk about that experience being on the cruise and performing on the cruise.
It was an awesome experience. The fact that I was able to book my friends to do it with me makes it even better. Those are the guys that's literally are my mentors in music right now. Flash, who's been working with Kanye West on the last Donda album. Teezy, who's been, Teezy, he's been on here many times. Literally taught me how to rap from ground up. So just to pay it back to those guys and have them experience something like that together. That was our first time ever performing all together. I performed with Flash before in Seattle, and I performed with Teezy on separate occasions at parties and other venues and stuff. But the fact that we got to do it together meant something to us. 4:00 prime time on the big stage. The year before I did it by myself, and Jericho gave me 30 minutes in the little small stages inside. And he liked it so much. I got a good reception. The fact that he wanted to put on the big stage, sun beaming down on us, it's real hot. Shirts are coming off, girls are in bikinis. It's a great experience. Yeah. That's why whoever's been skeptical on going, you definitely got to go, because now we got a whole new experience of the Jericho Cruise that myself, Swerve, Flash, and Teezy can provide. And Jericho was really happy with it once it's back again to do it again. But man, we performed some hits, hour-long set, team up. We're the Avengers on that thing.
Swerve, it was definitely entertaining watching you perform, and I paid attention to the fan base and how into you they were and your performance. Getting over in professional wrestling is not that easy to do anymore, because most of the time people are responding to moves. With you, it's been different, especially over the past year, the natural progression of your relationship with the pro wrestling, more specifically AEW fan base. What do you attribute you getting over with the fan base more and more every week to?
It was all about creating an aura about myself that not a lot of people can really provide on the show and the roster. I watch a lot of stuff. I watch everything. I watch what's going on this channel, what's going on this channel, this program. I watch heavily about what's going on in our program. And I always tell people that are trying to get a spot on main cards or on TV, and a consistent spot, not just show up one day and you're not going to see them for another 3 weeks and stuff. You have to create something that isn't available right now. You have to provide a service. It's just like any boss or any job that you go to. Why do I need to keep bringing you back constantly over and over again? You need to provide a service that nobody else can provide. So therefore you become a necessity. And so for me, it was about providing an aura about myself, a look, a feel. And for me, the feel was fear. And I tapped into that with kidnapping Billy Gunn, breaking his fingers with the Acclaim. Then I was okay, how do I double down on that? And that was to go into Nick Wayne's school and just doing a film, almost I'm a big horror film person. So it was just tapping into movies like Hostel. That was just movies that made you feel uncomfortable, but it was also very real too. It wasn't too spooky type horror film. It was just no, this could really happen. That's a very fearful thought and feeling to have. And some people it may be a little traumatic, but it triggers something in you to get a feel for that person, that character, that act, that segment that's going on. So it just keep tapping onto those things. So that was for me, that worked for me. And just the fact that it was an African-American character in that setting doing those things, it made it just unique and different, because we don't really see that kind of stuff in our culture. We're kind of like the showmans. We're very showy and very loud and eccentric in a lot of our gimmicks and stuff. I wanted to be what if I went the other way and made very serial killer-esque type vibes, and home invasion type feels and stuff. And they're just like, oh wow, this is something unique we haven't seen. And that's what worked for me. So I employed, and I feel like the fans really gravitated to that. They see something that has reminded them in other films and stuff, and I just kept doubling down and tapping in.
I loved your answer, and your answer also gives me a little bit more of a background of how your character is based on the character Blade, correct?
It's based off of Wesley Snipes. It was honestly the core of it when I was in NXT was based on Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man. It's just like
okay, yes. Thank you for
yeah,
correcting me. Yep.
yeah, but it's a lot of also Wesley Snipes-esque mannerisms in his acting. Then I went to like New Jack City when I kind of transitioned over into the Mogul Embassy, Mogul Affiliates type of genre. But then I started like really feeling like a lot of rappers that I'm a fan of, like Playboy Cardi with the black leather and all those things, then braiding the hair back, and then the people call it eyeliner, it's eyeshadow, but like just those little elements of me were just starting to change, and people weren't noticing it, but they felt something do. And it was a purpose because like it was something that Sting did to me that affected me, that transitioned me to where I am. It's just like a purpose for why things happen.
But Swerve, like, and just keeping on the theme of like horror movies, it's almost like, you know, more mainstream, like a Freddy Krueger or like a Herbert West, where the character is so over, even though he's evil and demented, the fans love him. That's kind of happened with you on AEW TV. As demented as your character is and the bad that you have done, the fans love you. Was that intentional, or did that surprise you that you've gotten so much love from the fan base?
This is it's a thing of like we kind of go with how they feel. We can't control how the fans are going to feel about something. If they feel a certain way, you kind of go with it and flow with it. You know, especially like city to city to city, you get to try those things. It's trial and error, and you try, and then you see what goes on, see how they react, see the response to those things, and you kind of maneuver according to that. And that's kind of where me and Hangman were. We saw the responses. It started in Seattle at Wrestle Dream. Like we knew the fans were going to be kind of like for me being in my hometown and my city and all like that. So we kind of went that way with it. We didn't like pivot. We kind of egged it on. And if you look at Roman, he's the biggest heel in the business, but people acknowledge him every city they go to, and they bow down to him and they rise up when that music hits. So there's no real difference. It's like he's still going to be him. He's not going to pivot to what he's doing. Paul Heyman's not going to pivot from what he's doing, and neither is Solo. So why should I? You know, like, so I'm going to keep doing what I do. As long as I get a response, I'm going to keep doing what I do. As long as there's some type of reaction, some type of connection, and some people like just kind of like further dissecting and trying to really understand the character, that gives me way more longevity than like a lot of different characters that we have. And stripping those things down, it gives me more time of people wanting to invest in me on television.
Hey, Swerve, I've known you for a long, long time. Just watching you from, afar, as well as listening to you. Bubba asked the how. I want to know when. When did it click for you? Because it clicks for every wrestler differently. When did you? Right. Because I see it in your confidence in the ring. But when did this be like, boom, I get it now? Because you could do everything in the ring. I mean, you are one of the, most, I mean, you could brawl, you can fly, you're innovative, you've done it all, wrestling moves wise. But when did it just click for you? Because, I mean, we're seeing the results of it happening.
Well, for me, it was just like, honestly, it was trying all those different things like brawling, trying flying, trying lucha, trying British, trying all these grappling things, and compiling all those things together. I was like, okay, I got those down. Now what works best for me? Then it was just combining all those things together. But now I have the skill set and the ability to put it together. But when I was in NXT and I was in the classes with Terry Taylor and in the ring with him, when I really got in the ring with him, it was just something he said. It was just like, it's not about, he said something along the lines of like, how do you make people feel about what you're doing in the ring? And it's not about like the competitor, it's about the person. And when right there is just like, oh, I just opened another side of my brain that I haven't walked through yet, that I haven't discovered. It's like now I have this. I thought I was in an apartment this whole time. No, now I'm in an actual like condominium with multiple floors. That's what it is. Just like all these different ideas start flooding, and then it was just like I need to make. How would a person interact? Not just wrestlers, but how do people interact in situations of conflict? And I kind of took that concept and just put it into my matches. And that's where it really clicked. That's where it stopped being about like memorization. It stopped being about um, uh, formatting and templates. It just became about I'm me, you're you. Let's fight. I'm me, you're you. We have a problem. And that's where the matches really just became easy. And I stopped getting nervous. Like even when Triple H is like walking out, he'd be like, "Are you sure you can handle this?" I'm like, I got this. And I would just go. And like people like what Road Dogg at that time was like, he was worried. He was like, all right, I think I make the time. Triple H was like, nah, he got it. And then so it got infectious. And so therefore, like when I got to Tony Khan and these bigger matches, I'd be like, hey, Tony, anything you want out of this? He's like, you got it. And it just trickled over because that feeling that I had and that confidence, which is I call myself Swerve Confident, that confidence, it became infectious to the people that are putting me in the position. And that's what you want. You want someone to be like, oh, I can put him with Sting in front of 80,000 people. He got it. Like, oh, I can put him with like Jeff Hardy, RVD, Billy Gunn. I can put him with these legends. He'll be good. Tanahashi.
That's awesome.
Swerve, speaking of RVD, take me as behind the curtain as you feel comfortable. What was it like wrestling RVD?
Just understanding where the evolution of all this began, the style and the style that I grew up loving and stuff, and just being able to mix it with this man, this like I don't feel him like that he's a man. He's like that's a story. RVD is like a story, like the story of RVD. Like now I'm competing with this man, and he's still like high caliber performing. And it was to a sense, it was like, man, I got to keep up with him. He was fantastic, in shape, mind still sharp as a nail. Just an unreal experience for the crowd that we had, and to main event with that man on television is incredible. Hats off to him, staying in shape, still like showcasing to these young guys, like this is why I am who I am. This is like why y'all do what I've invented like 30 years ago. Like he's awesome. True revolutionary. Yeah.
Tonight on Dynamite, big episode of Dynamite tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, coming out of Phoenix, Arizona on TBS. You have this match with Hangman Page. The winner of this match faces the AEW World Champion Samoa Joe at Revolution. This is a great opportunity for you, Swerve, for multiple reasons. We look at you and what you've developed with your character. We look how popular you are right now with the AEW fan base. This is a good position to possibly be the face of AEW, and this would be the first big step for that. Is that something that you thought about, being a world champion and being the face of AEW?
Yeah, yes, I have. I said it in my promo on Collision this Saturday. I said I'm setting out to do what I said I was going to do in my first day on AEW when I debuted at Revolution. You know, I was going to be a champion. I was going to take titles away from some of your favorites, you know, and to like 2 years to the day almost to the pay-per-view that I debuted, we're coming up on Revolution. And I'm right now is my one step to get to that, to make my prophecy come true. I don't think we've had anybody in this position like I am in a long time across industry wide, you know. I have a lot of pressure on my shoulders, but I wouldn't be here if I didn't think I could handle it and anybody else didn't think I could handle it. It's just a matter of just doing what I do, but still looking ahead at the same time. It's a little difficult to do both at the same. You kind of got to be have preparation and be preparatory to these certain actions and these certain things that are about to unfold coming up. But at the same time, you got to be dialed into the moment now. And that's always hard, but I'm still learning and figuring these things out. And once again, I'm taking what I have and I'm just molding it and growing with the moments, not necessarily the action. I'm growing with the moment, and I want to make sure I stay in the moment and keep the moment. And that's what I want the fans to see. Hold on to these moments.
You know, Swerve, just last quick thing for me. It sounds like you learned a lot in the WWE and you're applying it in AEW.
100%. I would say so.
Yep.
And I would say, like a lot of people say, like, oh, you do these indies and stuff to prep to get to WWE. Well, WWE prepped me to get to here and become what I, with this, with the AEW and build and be like a cornerstone of the company. And that's awesome in a sense too. And I don't think there's been a lot of people that really come out and create that narrative themselves. And like a lot of people have the story of, oh, I wasn't utilized right. I was like, I wasn't this. They didn't do this. I'm like, no, I learned. I got there and learned to be able to go to AEW and create and do something to the biggest I can do it with AEW. I didn't take NXT like at the time. Yeah, it was like a slight. Of course, it was painful and it was a bad experience at the time with NXT to SmackDown and to being let go. And I felt that pain, but I allow myself to feel that. And I'm like, okay, I can't do anything about it. What do I do with it? And I took something with it and I used it and created a tool. And what you're seeing now is my tool building what it was meant to build in AEW. And it starts tonight.
Yeah, Swerve, I can't wait for tonight. Again, AEW Dynamite tonight, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time out of Phoenix. Big match for Swerve against Hangman Page. The winner is going to face your AEW World Champion at Revolution. Swerve, thank you so much for always being a friend of the show. Good luck tonight, and can't wait to see you with that gold around your waist.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Bully. Appreciate you, Tommy. Thank you, Dave.
Keep up the good work, Swerve.
See you, bud.
Appreciate it.
Swerve's
Thank you for
house.
watching.